Austin Butler opens up about his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood fight with Brad Pitt. The star takes us back to the set of Quentin Tarantino's 2019 hit, that there aren't many movies in the last decade with an ending as exciting and cathartic as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino's alternate history version of late 60s Hollywood follows a pair of fictional characters, Leonardo DiCaprio's washed-up actor Rick Dalton and his stunt double, Cliff Booth, as played by Brad Pitt, along with an assortment of real-life figures, including the late actress Sharon Tate, Margot Robbie, and several members of the infamous Manson family who ultimately murdered her in real life. Tarantino is known for throwing historical swerves into his movies, though. In Once Upon a Time's closing chapter, an enraged quartet of Manson followers, including Austin Butler's Tex Watson, Mikey Madison's Susan Atkins, Maya Hawke's Linda Kasabian, and Madison Beattie's Patricia Krenwinkel, arrive, mistakenly, at the home of a heavily intoxicated Rick and Cliff. And the scene that follows changes history. Manson's goons don't wind up killing Tate, along with 6 others, but rather get their asses absolutely handed to them in a typically cartoonishly violent Tarantino fashion by Rick and Cliff. Butler, who opens the scene with a haunting line that Tex Watson really supposedly uttered at the scene of the crime, engages Cliff in a fight, and gets pretty quickly handled. But it wasn't always going to be this way. It was initially going to be a lot longer of a fight, Butler explains in a new edition of Men's Health Stunt School series. But when we got there, Tarantino said, "You know what? It doesn't make sense for you to be a good fighter." Brad's character is, like, a special forces guy, so if he can't take you out quickly, then it doesn't feel right. As a result, Tex gets, well, something that we all wish would have happened in real life. He gets the shit beat out of him. And not just by Cliff, but by his trusty pit bull, too. Almost everything with the real pit bull, outside of a bite to the groin, which he credits to his own longtime stunt double Braxton McAllister, involved prep and occasionally some real agony. The pit bull, which Butler says was 80 pounds, launched at his arm and bit his arm, which was wrapped in leather under his sweatshirt. But that 80-pound pit bull was no weakling, and during rehearsals, he got Butler's left arm, which was the original plan, since he had a gun in his right hand. In rehearsals, he got me in such a way that he tore my rotator cuff, Butler says. He was very strong. And so then we did it on the right arm on the day, and I realized I need to hold on tight, otherwise it's going to rip my arm off. And at the end of the day, that's all part of doing stunts in an action-heavy Quentin Tarantino movie. Facing off with Brad Pitt, bracing for a bite from an enormous dog, and making sure your arm doesn't rip off. Read Butler's new Men's Health cover story here.